What's going on, everybody? I'm back with another video, and this video is going to consist of 3 different synths, all in massive, and with the help of the plugin Acoustics by Tone 2. And this video is more or less just to show you guys, that I'm working on a couple different things, and I got some really dope stuff in the works for you. However, I'm only going to be showing you these 3 synths and these 3 synths only, and nothing else that I've got going on down here. But nonetheless, it's progress being made. It's slow, but it's being made. Aside from work interrupting all the time, me working 80-hour weeks, it's hard to keep this thing going. But anyway, that's a story for another day. I'll go ahead and play all 3 of these, and then after it loops, I'll solo each one. That way you guys can hear what you're in for, and if you decide to stick around and watch the video and make it, then by all means do so, and if not, that's okay. So also, I'm going to leave the acoustics plugin off because it's just a major CPU drag, and until the end of the video, I'm just going to leave them off. As you can already see, I've got a lot of different things open here. My CPU is already peeking out. So I'll leave it off for now, and we'll add it on at the end of the video, or at the end of the session here. Anyway, let's get started here on one of the wobbles, which would be this one right here. It's really ugly, but I really like it. So we're using 2 oscillators. We've got some noise going on, 2 inserts, 2 filters, and 2 effects, and a little bit of EQ going on here. And tossing the LFO around and throwing some macros here and there. Pretty simple stuff. And so anyway, oscillator disto is what we're going to be using for one oscillator here. Leave it on spectrum. The pitch is -36.5. The wavetable position is set to about 2 o'clock. Intensity is all the way up. Amp is all the way up. And leave the filter slider in the middle. Oscillator number 3, or whichever one you put these on. Anyway, the oscillator has to be set to carbon. Leave it on spectrum. Wavetable is at 9 o'clock. Intensity is all the way up, and amp is at about 11:30. And leave the filter the filter slider here in the middle. Set the pitch to -35.72. Modulation oscillator here. We got phase set to oscillator 3, which would be the carbon, whichever one you set that to, and the knob is set to about 830. Lower the pitch -24 or 2 octaves. Our noise is set to paper. The amp is about 8 o'clock. The collar is all the way up, and throw 2 inserts here. We're using sine shaper and parabolic shaper. Our dry wet on sine shaper is set to 12 o'clock. Our drive is set to about 10 o'clock. Insert 2, our parabolic shaper, is set to about 11, in between 11 and 12. And our drive is just past 12 o'clock. Filter 1, set to daft. Cutoff is about 10. Resonance is about 1 o'clock. And our effects is set to teletube. Our dry wet is about 10 o'clock. Maybe a little past that. Our drive is set to, I'm sorry, dry wet. I think I said dry wet. Whatever. Anyway, dry wet is set to 10 o'clock. Our drive here is set to 1. And we got a dimension expander. Dry wet is just below 12. And size is just above 9 o'clock. Add a little bit of an EQ here. Low shelf is set to just below 12. Boost is just above 12. Frequency is just above 12. And high shelf is about 1 o'clock. You guys can go ahead and just fiddle around with the notes. For sake of me having to do that, I'm going to just leave it out, and you guys can see what the progress sounds like as you're adding these different settings in there. Yeah, filter 2 here is set to band reject. Cutoff is just about above 9 o'clock. Bandwidth is just below 12, and resonance is just below. It's about 11:30. You want to set your mixes here all the way up, and this mix here is set to this mix slider here is set to let's just leave it on mix 2. Anyway, our LFO here, I have the ratio set to quarter notes, which is 1/4. And if you don't see that and you just see this, just hit sync and you'll have that. Our crossfade here is, we got sine wave and move it to here, and this is just the original setting, and the crossfade here is set to just above, about 20% above the halfway mark there. Let's see here. Envelopes, our delay is all the way to the left, attack is all the way to the left, our level here is all the way to the right, decay is at 12, level here is about 1 o'clock, and I believe that's it. Our release is all the way down here, and you don't have to mess around with the glide intervals here, the time interval. So I mean, just set it to whatever you want. Pitch bend, I have it up 2 octaves and down 2 octaves, and you want to restart the gate here and set these settings to this. Well, I thought I had numbers that would show up, but I don't. But set it to these settings right there. And I believe that's it. The voicing, I have it set to monophonic, 2 unison, 16 on the max, and legato triller. Pan position is turned on and all the way on full. I haven't messed with any routing. I never mess with the routing. Okay, time for the macros. Let's throw, whichever macros you want. But make sure you, okay, let's actually just do it in this order. Macro 1 is going to go on daft and turn it all the way up. And also put it on resonance and turn it to about 11 o'clock. Macro 2, I have it set on the inserts here. And I believe it's also set, also on the effects. So throw it on the dry wet, a sine shaper, turn it to about 2 o'clock. Also on the dry wet on parabolic shaper and set it to about 2 o'clock. And on the drive of the parabolic shaper and set that to about 1 o'clock. And toss it up here on the dry wet on the tele tube and almost 3 o'clock, drag it up. Macro 3, I had it set on all the wavetable positions. For disto, drag it to about 12. And for carbon, just drag it all the way down. And so you see that little thing right there. And you should have this sound. if you followed me correctly. So our next synth here, we've got the main drop synth. Really fat. We've got one oscillator, got a little bit of noise, 2 inserts, 1 filter, 2 effects, a little bit of EQ, and that's it. And we're also using an LFO. So 1 oscillator, put it on Chrome, bin plus, wavetable is all the way down, intensity is all the, oh shit, I'm sorry. It's set to about 10 o'clock, amp is all the way up, and the filter slider here is set to filter 1. Noise, we have it set to high metallic, amp is all the way down, color is all the way up. Our insert 1 is parabolic shaper, and dry wet is set all the way down, and the drive is all the way up. Insert 2 is on hard clipper. Yeah. Our dry wet is in between 8 and 9, about 8:30, and our drive is just past 12 o'clock. And our effects 1, I'm sorry, go up to our filter 1 here. Using double notch, cutoff is all the way down, resonance is about 9 o'clock, and the mix is all the way up here, as well as here. Our effects 1, we're using Bronner tube, dry wet is set to 10 o'clock, and the drive is 12 o'clock. Effects 2 is dimension expander. Our dry wet is set to almost, it's about 11 o'clock or so, in between 10 and 11. Size is 12 o'clock. And we have an EQ here. Lower the shelf, or lower the low shelf a little bit till about 11:30. Boost stays at 12 o'clock. Frequency is about 11:30 as well, and high shelf is about 12:30, 1 o'clock. And the LFO, have it set to that would be a full measure, so it would just be 1 and 1. If you don't see this ratio box here, just hit sync. If you see this instead of this, just hit sync and it'll bring it up. It switches back and forth in between the two. But hopefully you already know that if you're watching this. Our crossfader here is set all the way up, and we're on a sine wave and set it to this position. Let's see here. Yeah, envelope 4. Our delay is all the way down, all the way to the left, I'm sorry, and our attack is about 8 o'clock, levels all the way up, decay is at 12, levels all the way up, and everything else is the same here. Didn't touch that. Have our voicing, our unison set to 1, 16 on max, polyphonic, and trigger set to always. I believe that's it, fellas. All you have to do is drag the LFO to the wavetable on Chrome and drag it all the way down until you get this gray box set to about 2 o'clock. Or the gray line, I'm sorry. And do the same for intensity and drag it to just past 12 o'clock. And same for the cutoff. And drag that to just past 9 o'clock. Drag it up. And set it on the noise, or I'm sorry, the amp here on high metallic, and just past 9 o'clock, drag that up. We'll have it on the parabolic shaper, on the dry wet, drag it down until you get this gray line here above 9 o'clock. And I believe that's it as far as the LFO goes. And what you want to do with what I've done here with the macro control here is I just set it to these boxes here, and I drug up, and I just stopped where the gray stopped or where the green stopped. And what that does is it kind of, when you use it, it just kind of like beefens up the sound. So you kind of get a beefier sound if you do those settings right there. But I believe that, yeah, that's it for that. Now on to the sub. And this is very simple. Very simple settings. All you got to do, we are just using one oscillator, lower it 1 octave, which is -12. We have it on sine square. Leave it on spectrum. Intensity is all the way up, amp is all the way up, and wavetable is all the way to the left. And that is it. That is all you do on that one. You can throw, actually, sorry to get the setting that I have here. I apologize about lying to you. Throw a macro on the depth, turn the depth all the way down and drag it up to about 2 o'clock. I have our time set to there. I don't think it makes a difference. I have it up an octave and down 2 octaves. And I have the gate restarted here. Our rate, I have it set to about 930. Take this LFO, which is set to 1, and the crossfader is all the way up, and I have it set to sawtooth here. And drag this to right there. That's where you have to drag it, and then drag it to about 2 o'clock. And that's it, fellas. That is all you have. This attack, and it doesn't make a difference where that is. And take this macro and pull it all the way up. Should have that sound. It's pretty nice. Anyway, like I said about the acoustics plugins, I guess I'll go ahead and show you the settings for those. I have it set to noise reduction light, volumes at halfway. Our let's see, I didn't touch any of this. You never really want to spread stereo, but I mean you can if you want. I mean spread bass. You don't want to turn bass into stereo. But if you're kinky, you can do it by any means. Have the phase enhance. Have this this laser punch set to about 10 o'clock, and on the exciter here, the mix is just past 12 o'clock. Frequency is all the way down, and on the smart filter, have the clarity all the way down to the left, and noise reduction set to about 930. And just take this low gain here and set it to about just past 1 o'clock, and that is the setting for this. And without it, it doesn't give it that high metallic sound. You know, it's just bass. But I wanted to switch it up. I like that a lot. So, and I'm also using it on the main drop synth here. I have it set to enhanced general medium. Ultra stereo is all the way up. Silky is all the way to the left. Volume is left halfway. Phase enhance is at 12. The cream is all the way to the left. Dynamic fat bass is set to about 11 o'clock. Loudness mix is set to 11 o'clock. Loudness bass boost is all the way to the left, and tone is left in the middle. Our exciter here is all the way to the left on the mix, and the frequency is all the way up. On the both knobs here on the smart filter are all the way to the left. And I took this widener here on the low end and turned it all the way down. And that's all you have to do. Let's see. Oh, I think it's muted here. It really, really widens that sound. Kind of gives it that stereo feel that a lot of people are trying to achieve. So, yeah, guys, without further ado, like the video, subscribe if you want for further videos and other production videos soon to come. Also, I can't stress it more, my Facebook needs some likes. I need some support. Help me out, guys. I'm doing my best to help you when I can. So it wouldn't take much to go over and hit the like button. I'll post a link in the description, and yeah, keep the views coming in, keep the comments. I want all the feedback you guys have, good, bad, ugly, awesome, whatever. Bring it. I want it. And yeah, stay tuned for the finished product of this. And see you guys.